I didn't choose the Croc life chose me. How could I not get my very own pair with this Nerf branded collab from Croc Official? In the first part of the video, we'll be talking about the Crocs as they came out of the box or the bag. And then don't worry, later on in the video, we're going to get more tactical with scopes, lasers, add-ons, and more. So stay tuned for that. These are actually my first pair of Crocs. I've never had a pair. I've had a couple knockoff pairs. Don't tell anybody. Just for going to the beach and doing water type stuff. But these are the first official ones. So I'm going to go over what I think of these just really lightly. A lot of you are probably familiar with Crocs. I'm going to focus more on the Nerf components of these, but I did do some testing and trying them out to see how they worked in some of my favorite Nerf activities. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know anything about Crocs, they are over 21 years old now, founded in 2002, created by Andrew Reddyhoff. So he wanted to have a foam boat shoe, and even though some partners were skeptical at first, they went in on it. These were immensely popular at some boat shows and just exploded, and now they are around the globe with celebrities everywhere at some point donning some Crocs. You have lots of different themes. I know there are some Shrek ones that a friend of mine had her eye on real close, and we've seen everyone from Prince Charles, Nicki Minaj, Justin Bieber. They've all had a Croc or two on. Why are those the celebrities I mentioned? It's because they were the ones on the Wikipedia page. They are not my top celebrities per se. According to Wikipedia, Crocs also have an interesting history around being banned from certain institutions because they did tend to build up a lot of static electricity. Apparently Croc made special versions of their Crocs that would dissipate that static electricity. I wonder if I should look at that if I'm going to be tinkering away on little boards and motors and things like that in my Crocs. Honestly, I found myself accidentally really interested in the history of Crocs and how they went from kind of a laughingstock to having the last laugh. And they used advertising that leaned into the visceral feelings that people had about the brand and the look of the shoe. There were Times lists around this being one of the worst inventions of all time, and they just embraced all that and went with it. The company's also worth billions, and it seemed like they were just a company that was really comfortable with being what they were. But I'm no NotNuffNerf. I'm not as good at digging into the history in a coherent fashion, so let's get on with it. Now, one thing I do love, these were available up to men's size 15 on the Canadian Croc store. I commented on the NERF official site that, oh, I wish these came in my size. They were only up to size 11. They said we do carry more sizes. I checked later that day and lo and behold, here were the bigger sizes. So I got one pair to wear. You'll notice some mud and dirt on these because these are working Crocs. These are not collector Crocs, but I did also get a pair of collector Crocs. I got two pair because I missed out on that Nerf sneaker collab and never did get a pair of those, and I thought never again. These Crocs come with 4 Jibbitz. Jibbitz plug into the holes on the Crocs. This was a company that Croc acquired for millions of dollars a while ago because they were successful. People like customizing things. It's like people adding bits of flair in the old movie Office Space on their vests, or in the Nerf hobby, which I guess is a better example and more current. We love painting and customizing and stickering and decaling our blasters and doing all that. Crocs are no different. So it came with 2, this cool Nerf dart Jibbit, a Nerf logo Jibbit, this on target kind of generic Jibbit. This one isn't bad. This is like a little dart. I love these 2. I wish the other 2 said Elite or had maybe the old Nerf logo or some other kind of more well-known Nerf icon, but whatever, it's fine. It came with 4. I didn't know it came with any. I misread the listing, so I actually ordered the Jibbitz pack that was also available. I mean, no regrets. I'm gonna keep this one closed up probably, but we got Nerf Nation, another Nerf logo, another Nerf dart, little blast icon here. A lot of ways that you can stylize your Nerf Crocs. What else makes these particularly Nerf? Well, I think probably the most famous part about these when they come out is the fact that they have a dart holder on each shoe. You can slide a dart in here. You can grab one when you're battling on the field if you need that one extra dart. That's pretty cool. I will say when testing, because this can actually turn, which isn't a bad idea, but because it could turn, sometimes it would get turned down this way or that way, and maybe running around, it would get jostled loose. Some darts fit tighter than others. That's always a problem with anything friction fit and foam. But a really cool addition to have this little dart holder on the side. And with the launch of the Strife X, another question I'm sure a lot of you had is, are these Crocs half dart compatible? If I take a dart from the new Strife X and put it in my Croc, it is the perfect size. Like it was made for it. Is that a sign of further pro Crocs coming out? No, I don't think so. I think just less material was cheaper, but it is kind of cool that it does fit in there perfectly. So these may be the official footwear of Team Mega XL. I'm gonna have to talk to El the Geek about that. We also have some kind of neat little lines and styling in the Nerf logo, just really trying to kind of give the base of this Croc a little bit of a blaster detailing look, which I definitely appreciate. And I think this is a solid color scheme for a Nerf Croc. It's very, very recognizable Nerf colors. I did a lot of testing with these in regular casual mode and mostly in sport mode with the heel down when I was out running around. I shot some darts and did some tactical reloads. I played some basketball.
Are we Nerf balling with the Nerf Crocs?
I went for runs. That was some pretty low speed performance in those Crocs running. But just like using an old worn out Nerf dart will affect your FPS, using an old worn out human will affect your running speed. I did some one wheeling, and in the end I would say that you probably shouldn't use Crocs for any sort of fast-paced strenuous activity. And I probably won't use Crocs regularly one wheeling, that feels a little bit dangerous. But I will say for the most part, these were just fine. I would definitely use these during an HVZ or a casual Nerf event. I think I would stick to sneakers for a tournament match or something where I maybe really needed to turn on a dime. But hey, Crocs are pretty comfortable and you know, they have a pretty decent tread. Such a cool combo of Nerf and Crocs where these are, you know, the original foam shoe. Now, I don't know what these are exactly made out of these days. Some sort of foam hybrid thing, maybe. Whatever they're made of, it's a little bit too stiff to use as a melee weapon or throwable.
Hey, not bad.
Just a little bit stiffer than these old N-Strike things like the Warlock axe here. I might allow it in my arena. A War Croc axe may be coming. So this is cool. This dart holder makes it tactical, but what if it could be more tactical? That's why I worked with Paper Skeletons 3D and we did a really quick little test of a Jibbitz to Picatinny adapter. We used a couple of those Jibbit holes, we put in our rail, and we can attach whatever we want. I was excited to add on the Mega XL Gauntlet Blaster. You can actually click this with your other foot. I like to say there's no place like foam when I do it, and it works pretty well. So that's pretty cool, but I mean, I will say I wouldn't run around with this. This is a bit wobbly. This was just more of like a goof thing. But with all those different Jibbitz holes, you could actually make kind of a triangular or a 4-point Jibbitz connector and then have your rail on that so that it was more stable on the top of your shoe. I wouldn't do a full out run with something like this big on top of it. Obviously, this is for the lulz, but something like this, I would absolutely run around in HVZ with a Proud Papa mounted on here. Maybe I'd have a Mega Dart in here instead of this rival round I have in. Sure, I could trigger this with my other foot, or I could just reach down and grab it, or in an emergency, just take off my shoe and fire it from here. It's always good to have something else that's armed and ready. The PA Survival Fest where you needed specific rounds, having a Mega Dart just primed and ready, hanging out on my shoe, yeah, that's practical, absolutely practical. And of course you can angle this however you want. You might wonder, well, why don't you have this straight? I have it kind of at an angle so I can kind of, you can't see my foot, so I can have my foot kind of angled out and be standing sideways or be in a stance that I might operate a blaster and have this pointing in the right direction. I could also have it turned the other way. The only limit is your imagination and those Jibbitz holes. I should show, Jibbitz have this kind of circular tab thing on the underside of them, and they are just meant to kind of wiggle and push their way through the croc hole. So when you stretch that croc, the circle expands and you can kind of get your Jibbit through there. You have to be careful popping them back up. You have to reach kind of down around through and pop it out by that central hard plastic bit, or else you might tear your Jibbit. The rails are very, very similar. I don't think you're supposed to do this for the real Jibbits, but I kind of get it started at a little bit of an angle and then I just kind of push until that's in. And once it's on there, it's pretty darn sturdy. We didn't know the exact distances when Paper Skeletons and I were looking at this, and plus that width actually varies between some of the holes. So having this be kind of a sliding adjustable Jibbit, what are we doing, is actually really clever, and you can angle this a whole bunch of different ways. And removal, I just have my hand in through, I push up on the bottom of the Jibbit and boop, out it comes. And of course, you don't have to do a whole blaster. You can just do tactics. I like this flashlight and laser combo here. I think that's pretty cool. And by using a Picatinny to Nerf adapter, well, then you can go even crazier and you can add in more dart storage than that single one. Or start adding scopes and real tactical advantage here. I hope you enjoyed this peek at the NERF Crocs and this special edition Maritime Foam and Paper Skeletons 3D TactiCroc. I definitely think these are really fun. Should you buy them? I mean, they're kind of expensive if you're not really down the rabbit hole of nerfing like I am, but I certainly know a few people who have these on order. And I will be wearing these to probably all my parties, and you'll be seeing these in different games that I go to all over the place. They're not for everyone, but it's a good bit of fun, and it definitely shows you that you can mod anything. Take care, everyone. Play safe. Let me know what you think of the NERF Crocs, and be careful on those escalators. That was a whole other part of the Wikipedia entry. Just watch it. If I was going to add in any critiques to this at all, I would say be aware. If you're actually going to wear and use these, you are obviously going to get some wear and tear on the bits of the coloring and paint that are on these to make them Nerf themed. I think that's pretty unavoidable with any style Croc. Mine did come with a couple little imperfections in the paint and coloring here. Not a huge deal. These were the pair I was planning to wear. If these had been my collector pair, God, what am I? If these had been my collector pair, I might have been a little bit annoyed by that, but it was fine for these. They didn't come in a box or anything. They just came direct from croc.ca in a bag. A little collector box or something would have been cool to put them in, but I'm just being whiny at this point. And another way to answer the question, would I recommend these is, I'm wearing them right now. Would you wear these? Would you wear these to an event? Would you add tactical rails, or would you rather do anything but wear a Croc no matter what it looks like? I think you're limiting yourself if you have that sort of attitude about anything. Everything can be fun. Take care, everybody. Next time I'll talk about a blaster, I swear.